All right. Welcome, 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 ladies. Thank you for getting on tonight. So, you know what? This is not super formal, but I really just missed you guys and I wanted to hop on here tonight. Today is the last day of the month. So I just want to remind you if you are, um, if you're thinking, well, the month's over, strive to the finish line because I know that your units are, going to that next level. And you know what? I think that this is where the champions are made. Have you ever thought about that? Like during the biggest challenges in your life, have you ever experienced growth during the challenging seasons? Yes, no, maybe. Well, okay. I maybe that was me. Stop. Okay, because I was like everyone's frozen. Okay, so was that a yes? Y'all have received, yeah.
Yes.
Does anybody want to share about any challenging season in their life that maybe they've had personal growth through?
I've spent a lot of time unemployed and underemployed, and I always turn to praying my rosary and praying praying for guidance and help, and then and also my self-help books. I have quite a nice collection of self-help books. And just really tried to work on me to get my head back into a place where it's like, okay, I believe in me again.
Yeah.
And that's what, well, Jana, you and I have talked, not so much recently, but I've kind of had to do that. That's kind of where I'm kind of going right now, is that doing some self-help, doing a lot of prayer, and I can see and I feel a lot of growth, but it's a process.
Yeah, it is. It is a process. And you know what? We are refined by the fire. Would you all agree? We are refined and God is creating gold and he's separating the wheat from the chaff and he's burning the impurities out of our life. And so I'm getting a little preachy tonight, but you know what? It'll all be good because I just think that a lot of times when we go through challenges, we look at it as, why am I in this hardship? Why am I going through this? Why? And instead of asking why, I think it's a great idea to ask, God, what would you have me learn through this moment so I don't have to walk around this mountain for 40 years? I want to learn what I need to learn to honor you so I can make this lesson shorter because it's painful. And so honestly, through this virus, people need to stay home and to figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, and I know that certain people can't, but as many people that can, stay in, because the faster that we learn how to stay home and love that home life and that solitude, the faster that this virus is going to dissipate because it can't spread. So, how about you, Dolores? Oh, and another thing that I was thinking is I want you all to think about this. When do you learn the most about yourself and about others? When you're on the mountaintop and you're just cruising and you're successful, or when you're in the valley?
Man, when you're deep in the valley.
Yeah.
And you're climbing.
For sure. And I think that one of the things that we have to remember is when we get out of the valley, stay close to Jesus, to keep our faith close, keep that personal growth. Because I think sometimes, I don't know if this happens to you guys, but I know it happens to me. Sometimes when I get on a roll and I'm like, oh, I'm doing good stuff now, awesome stuff's happening. And then I drop my exercise, then I drop my prayer time, then I start dropping the things that centered me and that kept me in a really healthy zone. So, Dolores, how about you? Have you ever had a that happen, like where you experienced growth through a challenge?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I guess sometimes I really think I view life a little bit differently on some things. Um, I don't I don't see those things as being that major, although I do look at things sometimes to where it's like when I'm upset about something and then I look around and I think, what? Oh, I said, this is kind of like payback for whatever it was I did. And this is what it feels like to be on the receiving end.
Mm,
And I think part of the time that's kind of where I catch myself more so of anything and can beat myself up a little bit. Then it's like, okay, I can get through this because this is what I did to somebody else. And I just need to suck it up because I, this is what happens when you treat people that way, then you get treated that way.
right,
And you just need to, and then it makes it a little easier for me to deal with what I'm dealing with at that time.
right. But you know what? There's another way to look at that too. If it's the same person that keeps doing you wrong, that's not your fault. You know, sometimes we just got to make sure that you're internalizing, because if it's an unhealthy situation and you keep getting put in it, then you should evaluate. This is not karma. This is not karma. I do not treat people this way, and therefore I do not want to be treated this way. So um, I just know for sure that if you will look at things from a perspective of how can I grow through this? Sometimes
Yeah.
you want to just go through a challenge instead of growing through a challenge. And if you get to the other side, and if it was just a painful period for you, it's like, what was that good for? Because God always will use something that was meant for bad for good. I truly believe that there's something in it at all times. There's a lesson. Okay, so that's not even what I was planning on talking about tonight. So, but what I do want to talk about tonight is our April aspirations. You know, Dolores and I, before you got on, Jen, Dolores and I were talking about tomorrow. She was always like, oh, tomorrow I'm going to do this. And she gets excited about her Mary Kay business and what she's going to do tomorrow. And then the next day she's like, oh, I'm not going to do that today, but tomorrow I'm going to do this. And so I think that it's healthy to have those aspirations, but I think it's even healthier to get into action.
So,
So we are now going to have April aspirations and April action. So this is going to be a month of action for all of us. And so we're going to talk about what does it look like for aspiration and what does it look like for action? Okay. One is an intention. One is taking the step and moving forward. So as you think about your goals for the month of April, and I was going to post this earlier, but I just didn't get a chance to do it. These are some of my aspirations for the month of April. So I'm just going to read this list off to you guys. Okay. So I would love healing for our world. I want to get better at doing online parties. I want to grow my team. I want to build my customer base. I want to get closer to the court of sharing. I want to grow our national area. Does that sound pretty good?
yes.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But it's not measurable. Therefore, how do I know if I'm going to be successful at that? And so and so I thought, okay, I need something measurable on each of these. So getting better at partying, online parties. And then I put a line over and I need to hold 10. I need to hold 10 online parties so I can get good and skilled at that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's measurable. And I know when I do 10, I'm gonna be good. And then grow my team. Well, I want 5 new. That's the target that I want. I want to have a gold medal every month. And how can I do that? 25 sharing appointments. And so just having those tangible numbers, Jen, having kids is,
Brody just told me he needed a book and he has to have it read by Friday. And
uh-oh.
he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, this is due on Friday. And I was going, what?
Does he have the book, or
No, 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 he
how
doesn't.
how do they expect them to get a book when you can't go to a library?
Well, he's like, do you want me to read it online or get a book? And I was like, oh, well, I said, get a book. I'll get a book. He says, okay, well, it's due Friday.
Oh boy. And you're
Well,
like,
you better get started online, dude.
you better read online. That's right. I love
God.
solutions. You're solutions oriented. And that's what we have to do when we're looking at the aspirations as opposed to the actions. Okay, so build my customer base. So for building my customer base, I need a measurable goal. I want to add 10 skincare clients. How am I going to do that? By doing online facials and parties. It all boils down to the same thing it did when we were face to face, booking and selling and sharing. That's it. So the only thing that I'm doing differently is that I'm sending out the products to the people. I did start using Pirate Ship, which I absolutely love. If you've got a printer at home, Pirate Ship is the way to roll. If you get a Pirate Ship account, it'll keep your debit or credit card on file, and you just go on and you print out who you want to send it to. I've got a little kitchen. I'll just show you my scale here. This is a little digital scale. And so I just zero it out, have it on the counter, and put the package on there, and I weigh it, and then I put the size of the package, and it allows me to print a label, and then I don't have to go to the post office. I can stick it in my mailbox, or like today, I just drove by the post office and stuck it in their outdoor little blue box. So that is allowing me a lot of freedom because I'm printing stuff off in the house and then just taking it in my little tub to the post office or to a mailbox. You can even put it in your own mailbox. So anyway, so what do you all have some aspirations or goals in your business for the month of April? Anything you want?
For me, I've been working. I got 7 months worth of paperwork filed. And so I've got all my letters are down to where I'm down to that list that's laying there of my PC customers that I've been going to try to work down and marry up who's on my phone, who's on my Facebook, and so I can connect, so when I contact somebody, I know where I'm contacting them. If I can send one way, that way I make sure I get to everybody. Because I think that's my biggest crazy and that I overthink is because I've got people on Facebook, I've got people on phone numbers, I've got people address only to try to marry those up. So when I send something out, I can send it out one way and get it to everybody.
So
a lot easier.
That's hard because I mean, I think, do you put everything on Mary Kay in Touch?
That would require me to put in all the stuff I sold last year, wouldn't it?
No, but you could. Why don't you hire somebody to do that and for product?
Well, that'd be nice, but I want to get it organized and then I can keep up with it.
Right. Okay. So this is what I do. Like, I go on Mary Kay in Touch and I add a client. It takes 20 seconds. Add the client, and then you add the order, and then you can go over to the weekly accomplishment sheet, and you can add in right there how much sales tax you collected, how much you gave away to them, and then you click add, and then that's going to be on your report, so you can print that out for the tax person, and you don't have to do very much data entry and tracking sales and because you've all got it all right there on InTouch, because it automatically moves it over to weekly accomplishments. So consider doing that. But you know what?
Yeah.
If that's not your forte, Dolores, hire it done for product. You've got product on your shelf. I would ask, you know, maybe put it on Facebook. Who do you know that is super reliable and might be, you know, wants to do data entry? And if you paid them $10 an hour and you gave them free product, or they worked for free product, you'd only be paying $5 an hour.
That's an excellent idea.
And so there you go. And then that allows you, that frees you up to get on the phone and call your preferred customers and say, Susie, how are you? I've been thinking about you. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on. Is there anything that I can be praying for you? And you guys, I've done some contacts with my clients, and I'm not saying, hey, did you get your lookbook out of the gate right now? I just say, hey, how are you guys doing? Are you all well? Because that's the first concern. And sometimes, you know, Mary Kay doesn't get talked about till the very end, and they're like, oh my gosh, by the way, I need a moisturizer. And I'm like, oh, okay, sounds good. Did you get a chance to check out those creamy eyeshadows that just came out in the catalog? So it's gonna come up. They're thinking about it. They're thinking about it when you text. They're like, oh, that's my Mary Kay girlfriend. So Jen, what are your thoughts? How can Mary Kay bless you this month? Is there a way that, like, sales or something could bless you?
Yeah, I mean, especially since March was kind of a blech month.
Yeah.
I mean, really blech. I was like, okay, I remember you saying something about the microdermabrasion is coming out in a new package.
Uh-huh.
And so I have several of those on my shelf. And so I'm going to have a sale on those and get those off my shelf, get that money in my pocket. Then, in fact, I don't remember how many I have, maybe 5, but that's my goal. I'm going to get those. Uh-huh.
Do you want an idea?
Wood.
Do you have samples of that? Or a
I
full
think maybe just one.
Okay. So if you have, because you have a local Walmart, wink, wink.
Yeah, right.
Or if you do Amazon, these little containers.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you have a couple of these containers and maybe mark one, you know, because you probably have a microderm for yourself, or you could pull one to demo and then squirt the one in one and then one in the other, and then hand them out to people like your clients or whatever. Say, hey, I've got a product I want to get your opinion on. And if you, just for trying it for me, if you fall in love with it, I'll give you a $15 gift certificate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're selling it for $40. You're still profiting, you know, because $27.50 is half. So you're still profiting on that, but you're going to be able to replace that product with current.
Mm-hmm.
And,
right.
And you can, and that's going to open the door to talk to them about other things, like, let's try the 3D set. Hey, would you be willing to do a facial party with me? This would really help me out. It's something new I'm just learning right now.
Mm-hmm. So I did order a whole bunch of samples. That's what my order that I did send in was. I got a whole bunch of samples because I had some stuff, but I didn't have others. I might have put some microdermabrasions in there. At this point, I've slept since then, like 2 days ago. I don't remember. And so I want to try to send out to do the virtual facial. And the whole reason why I'm just kind of going is because if you send them out to people, what's the turnout, if you will? You set up your appointment, and to do it. And then they, start, backing out. Oh, I got this. Oh, I got that. Or, I don't know how to do this Zoom thing, or
Look at well, I have just been doing Facebook FaceTime.
oh, okay.
That's all I've been doing. Or I FaceTime if they have an Apple phone and we both have each other's numbers. But okay, so look at the verbiage that I had on, like on that one Facebook thing that I said,
Mhm.
I've never
I'm
done.
nodding. I'm
Look,
nodding. You can't see me. I'm making hamburgers for the kids.
that's okay. That's not naughty at all. You're cooking. But
I'm hungry.
if you look at my Facebook page, Jen, it said something about I've never done this before. I'm sending out 30 care packages to do virtual facials. And so what I'm doing is and then when people comment, I private message them and said, yay, thank you so much. I'm going to send this out to you. Your skin pretty normal, more dry, more oily. I talked about their skin. And then I said, I'm going to drop this in the mail. When you receive it, would you be willing to spend 15 minutes on FaceTime with me so I can practice doing virtual facials? And I get a confirmation from them. In the past, I have asked if I can send people stuff, but I didn't do that confirmation thing on the back, and it never happened. Now, I can tell you, I'm not going to name names, but I have and then what I do is I have my list. I create a list. This is the organized part of me. I create a list of the people, and then what is their address, and then what did I send them? Because I want to make sure that I know what I sent them. And then I put on here, and when you use Pirate Ship, you guys, it tells you when they receive it. Like you can go in and track all of your packages instead of like having a receipt from the post office and looking up all of these numbers. You just hit track and you see when they receive it. And then you can message them and say, hey, I saw you got your package. When is a good time for us to visit this week? Evenings or, this during the evening or on the weekend? Or are mornings or afternoons better for you? So give them two choices and set up the time. So I'm just looking at a couple right now that I need to set up because I sent some of these out and have not. Oh, that one did do a facial with me. So I've done 3 of these so far. And then I follow up with them and say, how's that working for your face? How are you feeling about that? And then I've been doing some interviews with some people as well. So anyway, does that help you out? Jen,
Yes.
is that good?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
I had to unmute.
Okay, this is what I did. It was really fun, and it was even better. Like, it was even easier than a regular facial because I looked cute, but I didn't have to set up a tray. I did have the full size product right here in front of me so I could lift it up and talk about it and romance it a little bit. And then, I did send them a catalog, but you wouldn't have to. You could just say, okay, this is the set and this is how much this is. And today, for today only, this is the special that I'm offering. So, but you do the same exact thing and say what you like most. What you like most about what we tried. But what I love about it is it just seems so natural. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel artificial or weird. They are in their comfort zone and I am in mine. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like sometimes I'll be like, oh, did you happen to grab the wet washcloth that we talked about? Because before I say, have a wet washcloth there. So, by your phone. And sometimes they're like trying to hold their phone, they're trying to do their face. And I'm like, oh girl, don't worry about it. Just lay your phone down. I don't mind looking at the ceiling or whatever while you're doing that. And so it is totally relaxed. So what other questions do you have about the virtual facials, you guys?
I just need to do them,
Yes. I agree, Jen.
Yeah, I just need to just get out and I just need to do it.
Okay.
And
So what's the first step?
just, sending out messages on text and just finding out who's, interested in doing something like that.
Okay.
Talking about it.
I'm going to challenge each one of you to, and I copied that post that I had from someone else. You know what I mean?
I saw your post
My
when you
friend,
sent that out.
my friend Holly Sherrick is the one that did that. And let me see. I'm going to go to my page, and if it allows me to tag you guys, I'm going to tag you in it. But it's been a little while back, so we'll see.
Yeah, it was maybe a week ago, 2
Yeah.
weeks ago that I saw you do that.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks because
I just about copied it and posted it on my own thing, and then I was like, wait a minute, I don't have any samples.
well, worst case scenario, grab you some of those little containers at Walmart
Mm-hmm.
or Hobby Lobby. I know you're at Walmart.
Oh,
God bless your heart. Okay, I know I'm getting close. I've got to be getting close to it. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I'm gonna tag both of you on this. And this is your challenge. I challenge both of you to have this posted by later tonight. How does that?
Right.
okay.
Because that's your first step. Okay, Jen, why isn't this popping up? There you are. Boom. Okay, I just tagged both of you on that. So you'll get a notification, and I challenge you to get that going tonight, to post your post, and just to get excited about it, because you guys, people are loving this right now. Think about people that have anxiety, people that are missing people that are just like fed up with everybody in their house. This is a great opportunity for them to just have something for themselves for just a bit. You know how many people are not showering or doing their hair?
Lots.
I talked to my aunt last night, and she said, I don't think I've done my hair in 3 weeks. And I said, go get in the shower and get yourself feeling good. She was laughing because she saw it was me, like she saw me. She said, I don't think I've seen you without makeup. And that's funny because she's known me since I was a baby. But I'm like, that's hilarious. But yeah, I looked a little crazy. So
Yeah, by the way, you've got some big crazy hair going on today.
you know what? The reason why I don't usually do curly hair is because it frizzes out, because I have naturally curly hair. And so it'll frizz, and everybody's like, I love your hair, I love your hair. I'm like, all right, I'll see if I can do it this way more often.
My hair has been so flippin' big the last couple of weeks because, well, I've been washing it more often, because before I'd wash it maybe a couple times a week, and now I'm like washing it every other day.
Yeah.
And about to sneeze. And so whenever it's done, I mean, it is just, today it's not, because I had it pulled back while it was wet, but it was like this. It was like freaking 80s hair, frizzy and full. I'm going,
80s hair. Maybe we're supposed to rock it and bring it back. And I have to tell you, and Dolores, sometimes when we stop resisting what God gave us, that's what's supposed to happen. Like, my hair's naturally curly, and I've been straightening it for how long? So I guess I'm supposed to have it curly. Okay, so I want to ask you these. We're gonna wrap it up with these questions. How does what we do impact others? Like, how does a facial in particular, or sharing the Mary Kay career facts, impact other people, you guys?
I know for a fact, for me, it's making kind of making a new friend. It's one of the things I've loved about having people over to my house to do the facials, because we're comfortable. We can go in the bathroom and wash our face and talk that way, and just chitty chatter about whatever, and just have some girl time and share the Mary Kay at the same time. And it just makes for a real nice experience that way, and getting acquainted with people.
Dolores, that's awesome. And building relationships, how do you think that makes them feel? You know what I mean? Sometimes we just need a friend. And you know what? I'm not a clingy person, but sometimes I just need to know that somebody is there, you know? And like sometimes everybody peels out and you're like, I just needed to know that I had somebody or somebody had my back. And so I think that that's so important. Okay, Jen, what do you think? How do you think what we do impacts others?
You know, I think that this is what I'm dealing with.
Oh my goodness. You
I
got
know.
water.
More beer, more water, something.
I know. So, yeah, I needed some water, but I'm out here doing this. I just really think that, you know, it just makes everybody feel good to be able to just, you know, say, hey, you know, how does that feel? And we're not talking about your feelings, you know, because
Right.
sometimes I think so many times, like right now, well, how do you feel? Are you sad? Are you lonely? Are you blah, blah, blah? But instead, if we can, you know, like after a charcoal mask or after a, you know, even just going through and doing cleansing, it's like, wow, how does that feel? You know, and we're just taking our minds off of our emotional feelings, you know. And I think sometimes people just really need that, because I know that that's one thing since I'm kind of the lotion queen, you know, that's what I tell people. It's like, hey, you know, try this lotion, and it's like, how does that feel? They're like, oh wow, that really feels good, I really like that. And I'm like, well, need any more, hit me up, I've always got it.
Wow.
And if you want some at home, I can hook you up that way too.
Wow.
So,
You know,
you know,
something just popped through my brain while you were talking about that. I'm going to take those little canisters and I'm going to fill them up with hydrating lotion, and I'm going to keep them in my purse, and I'm going
mhm,
to pass those babies out like candy.
yes.
I am going to carry those around because it's an amazing product. And maybe
It
even,
smells wonderful.
right. So
Yes.
that's so powerful. I love how you talked about not about, you know, we're not there to evaluate their feelings. We're there to have them have the feel of their face and have them evaluate how something actually feels. And you know what? This is what I've never found a woman that says, I don't spend enough time in my head.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard a woman say that? Oh, I don't internalize things near enough. I don't evaluate things near enough. You've never heard a female say that, have you?
Nope.
I know I don't have that problem.
That none of us do, because it has been proven that women have more thoughts than men, and like about half more. That's because we're over evaluating things. So you guys, stop over evaluating things and think about what you're cheating people out of when you're not booking these facials. Okay? Because that makes me feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing my duty. I'm not honoring God in this business if I'm not reaching out to people. People need people. And so, you know, this is our time. This is the moment. Okay. This is the valley for America right now. We're walking through the valley together, you guys. And the stronger that we can get in our businesses right now, when this all passes, because it's going to pass, where do you
Yeah.
want to be? You know, do you want to be like, well, I'm just getting ready to get my business started back up? Or do you want to be like, oh girl, look, now we can get together virtually because I'm good at that. We can get together in person because I'm good at that. You can join my team because I'm already building my team and I'm on target for my car. And so when, instead of just treading water, get to swimming, because you're going to be able to catch a tide that you would not believe, and you're going to be sailing. Okay, you guys. So this is what I've learned in Mary Kay. Anytime that there's been a little bit of a rough patch, and you've had to pivot or learn, I've pressed into it, and I've always grown from that. So I challenge y'all, get that on Facebook tonight, because in my opinion, evenings are the best time right now. Usually 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, really opportune times to post something that you want people to see. The only better time, in my opinion, are Sunday nights, because Sundays, but you know what? Every night's Sunday night right now, folks, because what is the Sunday night? Everybody's home, getting ready for the week. Guess what? Everybody's home, getting ready for the week.
Well,
Anyway,
that's what I was going to say. I think tonight, right now, is probably the best time ever, like between all day, evening, whatever, to reach out to people, because ain't nobody got, very many people ain't got excuses for not being around to take your phone call.
that's right.
You know, I mean, not all of us are got to go to places.
Right. You guys, I called a friend the other day, and actually it was yesterday, and I just kept thinking about her and kept thinking about her. And so I thought, you know what, I'll give her a call. I gave her a call and I said, how are you? And she said, I'm really sad. And she proceeded to tell me she had lost a 16-year-old niece, and to a freak accident. And and I'm not patting myself on the back, I'm thanking God that he put her on my heart. But through that, she said, thank you. And she had already placed an order with me that I was, just sticking in the mail already. But I was just thinking about her. I think we need to be obedient in those moments. I think we need to contact our people right now, because they need to know that we're there for them, whether they're ordering and have money or whether they just need a friend. So, that's part of that relationship, you know what I mean, with people. So just building that relationship and growing. Okay. So anyway, ladies, have an amazing night. And I can't wait to see your post on Facebook, not private.
It's coming.
Make that one public, and then message them privately. Okay.
Oh, by the way, Gabe asked if, because I told him the hamburgers were well done, and he asked, he's like, does that mean that they're gonna taste like ash?
I love that. That is beautiful. Tell him he is so creative and witty, and I loved that. Tell him, say it's kind of like extra crispy, like KFC. They're like KFC burgers, extra crispy.
I know. That kid, he just makes me laugh all the time.
Hey, you guys, thank you so much for getting on here tonight, so I didn't have to cry in my tears if I were by myself. Okay.
You got your waterproof eyeliner and your waterproof mascara. You're gorgeous. You would never smear.
Thank you, Dolores. All right, ladies. Love you all. Have a wonderful night. Let's finish up this month strong. We'll see you later.
Definitely. Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Jen. Bye, Jana.
Bye-bye.
Bye.